Okay, so you guys wanted a video on me going through how to do these two problems on the warm-up, just more thorough with a little bit more explanation. And so this is just like day 6 warm-up, except I wanted to give you some different problems because I'd already gone over the day 7 warm-up or 6 warm-up with you. So just as a recap, you've got this crazy graph. That's not what this is. It's just some random crazy graph. And if you want to find the slope of this tangent line or this tangent line or this tangent line, you'd have to do some pretty complicated equation solving, and you'd have to do it repeatedly, once for this, and then once for this, and once for this. Or I guess you could do like rise over run, but you'd need 2 points on here. So again, it gets a little, there's a lot of steps to that. And so the fancy slope formula, otherwise known as the derivative, this equation gives you the rise over run. So we talk about where that came from, but at this point, you should just know that this formula is the rise over run version for any space on that line or any tangent line on that point, okay? So I've got this equation here, and I want to know the slope of that line, and I want to use the limit definition to get that. So we know a shortcut for this, but I want to use the limit definition. So all that means is first I'm going to find f of x plus h. So all that means is I'm going to replace all the x's in my equation with x plus h. I should probably just move this out of the way. So all I did was I substituted all of my x's with x plus h, and now we're just going to simplify that. So remember, x plus h squared means x plus h times x plus h, and there is a shortcut for that, but in case you want to go the long way, x times x is x squared, x times h is xh, another xh, another h squared, so I've got x squared, 2 xh's, and another h squared. So that was this portion here. And again, the shortcut to this is really to square the first thing, which is this, square the back number, which is this, multiply these two together. So x times h is xh, and then double it. So whatever you've got here, we double it. I'm going to distribute the 2x there. And then I'll also distribute 3 out in front there. So there's a lot going on in this problem, and that is just this component that I've already highlighted in blue. So these two things match up. So in the formula, we've got to do f of x plus h. We've got to move some h point over, so I substitute that here. And then I'm going to take away the original function. So what I really have here, I'm just going to copy this to make it easier. So we've got this, erase that highlighting, minus f of x. So I'm going to put my f of x in parentheses to remind myself that I am subtracting the entire original f function. So I'm going to subtract the original f function. So what that reminds me to do is to distribute that minus sign here, which would give me a negative 3x squared. But if I distribute a minus sign here, it'll give me that positive x. So when I distribute, I'm going to have a minus plus situation here all over h. And again, the limit as h approaches 0. So now good things should happen, and I'm probably just going to just make this a little smaller. So hopefully some good things will happen. So 3x squares cancel out. The 2x's cancel out, yay. And I've got a 6xh minus h squared minus 2h all over h. So if I factor that numerator, which basically means make a multiplication problem, if I take h out of the first term, I get 6x minus h from the second term minus 2. So those are equivalent. So I'm just going to rewrite this instead. So if you multiply these together, h times 6h gives me this term, h times negative h gives me this term, h times negative 2 gives me this term. I'll divide these out. You've got 6x minus h minus 2. And again, remember, the final part of that is to do the limit as h approaches 0. So once I substitute this into the formula and reduce everything and cancel each other out, I get this. And if there's no more h's, then you don't have anything to worry about. But if there is still an h, remember that what you're doing at the very end is replacing h with 0, because you want to figure out what this is trending towards when h is 0. So if h is 0, then what I really have here is 6x minus 2. And if you remember, our shortcut is take this and this, multiply together, drop this by 1 degree. Do the same thing here. There's a secret 1 there. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. X, drop that by a degree, but remember x to the 0 is 1, so we don't actually have to write that. And so you get the exact same answer that I was going to get in the end, except I wanted you to get it the long way using the definition. So I tried to pick a little bit more complicated problems so that you could see all the steps. So that's what I want to do, the second part. I still want to find the derivative, and the notation for the derivative is this, that f prime of x is just the fancy slope f of x plus h minus f of x all over h as the limit approaches h of 0, but I want to use the shortcut. So the shortcut's pretty straightforward. Again, I've got 1/2 x cubed plus the 5th root of x squared. So if I want to do the shortcut, we take the number as an exponent and always multiply it by this coefficient. So these are always going to be multiplied. And since this one doesn't look like this one, I want to turn this into this. So if you remember, we talked about this in class, is that if you want to rewrite a radical can be written as a fractional exponent. So the index, this thing in the corner, is always the denominator, and the exponent the x is attached to is always the numerator. So what I really have is this. And again, these are equivalent. So same but different, right? These are written in different ways, but they mean the same thing. And then I'm just going to apply my shortcut. So again, the shortcut is that we take these numbers that are the exponents and we multiply them by the coefficients in front. So 1/2 times 3 is the same thing as 1/2 times 3 over 1. Multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators, so 3/2 x, and then subtract 1 from this number, which is this. I'm going to do the same thing with the other coefficient. So 2/5, which is the other exponent, exponent here, multiply by the one that's hanging out there. 2/5 times 1 is the same thing as 2/5, so plus 2/5 x, and then drop a degree. And so dropping a degree is really the same thing as subtracting 1. 1 is equivalent to 5 over 5, and I picked 5 over 5 because 2 had a 5 over it, so, common denominators. 2/5 minus 5/5 is negative 3/5, and so that's the answer there. And I don't like the way that looks because we've got a negative exponent, so we can fix that. I'll leave this is just fine, the exponent's positive, so I'm okay with that. This, what I'll do is I'll just write it with the 2 and the 5 separate. And if I want that exponent up top to change its sign, I just have to move the x, not the coefficient, just the x. Oops. And when I move it downstairs, the consequence of that is that it goes downstairs. So the 2 stays up top, the 5 stays downstairs, the x is normally up here with the 2, but if I want to fix that negative exponent, I bring it here. And if we want to get real fancy, we can keep that the same, but we can rewrite this as a radical. So just as a reminder, you don't have to do this, but in case you wanted to go from fractional exponent back to index form, this denominator is always this tiny little corner there, and the exponent at the top is always what's inside the hat with the x. Okay, so hopefully that helps and you got to see it a little bit more clearly. Either we use the shortcut, which we multiply this times this and decrease that number by 1, or we can take the long way, which is literally just this formula as the limit of h approaches 0. Hopefully that helps.